Alright, I want to talk really quickly, just really quick introduction to roofs. So if you go to architecture, you can go to the roof pull down here, and you have three options: roof by footprint, roof by extrusion, and roof by face. We did roof by face earlier. Let's just do roof by footprint. And right now, it's being nice to you. It's saying, by the way, you're on level 1. You really want to create the roof on level 1? If you'd like, we'll move it to level 2. And you could say, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, yes. And so now you can see the base level is set to level 2. And you get basically the same tools you got for the floor. So if I go to rectangle and left click, you're going to notice on your status bar that you have define slope is on. You have an offset option and a radius option, and it's going to chain by default because we have rectangle. So I'm going to leave those set the way they are. Left click and drag out and left click. Now these little arrows mean that every one of these is going to slope, so it's going to create a hipped roof, right? So this is going to slope, this is going to slope, this is going to slope. All the slopes are by default set to 9 and 12 here. Okay, so if I were to just hit the big check, I would get a 12-inch roof that has hips. So I'm going to hit check, and if I go to my 3D view, you're going to see that, right, that hipped roof. Okay, so I'm going to go to my level 2, zoom out. Now it's kind of clipping this, and the level 2 is cutting the top of it off. If I select this and go to edit footprint, I could select using control these two and get rid of define slope. And now those are not going to slope, so I'm going to get a gable. So if I hit check, right, I'm going to go ahead and get a gable roof now. Alright, so going back to level 2. Alright, if I want to be able to see the whole roof here, I can just left click on nothing, scroll down to my view range in level 2, and you see it's got a cut plane and a top, so I could just change this top to, like, how about 15 feet is probably enough. Whoops. And then change this cut to be the same 15 feet, right? And so now I've just moved my view range up so I can see that entire roof. Now if I pick this, go to edit footprint and pick these two, right, and get rid of define slope, I'm going to have a flat roof, right? So if I go to 3D view, there's my flat roof. And these work very similarly to the walls and the floors. So if I come in and take a view here, section, right, and go to that section view, right, there's a section of that, and I pick this. You notice that it goes up from the level instead of down like the roofs. I can go to steel truss insulation on metal deck, change my detail to medium, and you'll see there's that setting. If I select that, go to edit type, again there's the structure, very similar setup. Go to edit, there's the finish, the rigid insulation, metal deck, and structure, right? So there's the rigid insulation. You could make that rigid insulation variable, right, and click OK and click OK, and do the same thing that we just did to the floor, which is if I go to level 2, I could actually then pick this, and I could, let's add a split line. So I'll add a split line here, and I'll add another one here and create a drain in the middle of the roof by then picking that and modify sub-elements and pick that point, and let's take that point down to 2, how about -2 inches, right? Hit enter, and then if I go back to modify, select that, you're going to see that that is now sloping that rigid insulation down, okay, to -2 inches. So very, very similar to the floors. You basically select that. You can edit the footprint instead of the boundary, but really it is a boundary line. Do something very similar we did before, right? As long as it's a closed loop, it will, right, adjust itself to that and even maintain that relationship with the slope. Okay, So really simple stuff. There's obviously more things that can be done, but I just wanted to give you a really quick introduction to floors, roofs, and walls. I'll come back and do a roof by section instead of by footprint. All right.